Hello people, my name is Rage and welcome on all to my top 15 most anticipated games of 2015. You see what I did there with the 15s? But it is actually a fantastic sign that I had to extend the list. There's a lot of promising stuff potentially coming out the year. So since the last list was a lot of fun, we all enjoyed ourselves, let's take this puppy for another spin. Disclaimer, don't actually try and ride a puppy, it won't go well. I will say, however, a few little footnotes. Every game I'm about to talk about might very well suck. I don't want this to be a hype, let's just get hype for all of these games, because they might end up very much disappointing us. But I think we've not reached a point where we're so jaded as gamers that we can't at least be hopeful, that we can't look at a game and go, you know what, that looks like it'll be a lot of fun, because I think losing that spark would be a damn shame. So let's talk about some awesome looking titles that we're hopefully going to get to see this year. Some of the things on this list aren't confirmed for 2015, but I'm kind of just using a little bit of liberty and hoping that they will come out, so we're going to be talking about a few of them. I'm also going to spend a lot less time talking about each one in particular, because I'll be covering all of these when they do come out, and I don't think I need to go on for about 5 minutes on every single game, because it's just kind of pointless when I'm going on what little information we have. So with all that out of the way, I believe it is time to start with number 15. Oh, actually, yeah, just the quick usual, this is entirely my opinion, not yours, so please, don't get mad if I've missed anything, I've probably forgotten about it, come on, alright, let's have a nice discussion. A nice discussion? A nice discussion about this. I want to hear your list. I want you to comment on mine. Let's enjoy ourselves. So yeah. Final Fantasy 15. See, it really is the year of 15. I've always been a sucker for the Final Fantasy series. Some I've liked a lot more than others, and what I like about the series is that everyone has their own personal favorite Final Fantasy, because each game always does something at least a little bit different, and every game in its own right is certainly a unique, worthwhile experience. Now, I will admit, Final Fantasy has not been doing crazy well recently. Honestly, the best Final Fantasy game to release in recent years was the MMO, which is kind of bad for such a story-focused single-player series. Anything with lightning in has been kind of terrible, honestly, and it's a little bit disappointing, but 15 looks very promising. The actiony combat looks good and kind of newish for Final Fantasy, at least to me, and it harkens me back to Final Fantasy XII, which is my personal favourite Final Fantasy. I loved that game, one of my favourite games I ever played on PS2. I've played through it so many times, and if it can even slightly capture that feeling that I had back then, I will be happy. So I am hoping that Final Fantasy 15 will really give us an awesome Final Fantasy game, because we really are due for one. Kingdom Come Deliverance. Deliver us to the promised RPG. A pure, gorgeous-looking, authentic medieval RPG, crowdfunded to unreal amounts of money, and having played the alpha is looking very promising. The first chapter of this game will be coming out this year, if all goes to plan, and I think it'll be really good. I do. They would have to majorly fuck up to ruin this one. I think it'll be a really neat, almost authentic experience. The combat system looks like it'll be pretty damn fun, and I very much look forward to trying this out. I hope it is as good as I want it to be. I love RPGs. They are my favorite genre just going, so I really cannot wait to get my hands on the full version of Kingdom Come Deliverance. It really is a beautiful looking world, and if the gameplay can match, then I am sold. Also, who doesn't love medieval times? They're wonderful. So yeah, KCD! That sounds worse actually calling it KCD, doesn't it? let's just move on. Inside is number 13, the kind of spiritual successor to Limbo, a fantastic, unique, especially in the art style game that always had this kind of eerie atmosphere and was very just kind of satisfying to play through, but at the same time you weren't quite sure, and I just love the feeling it created. And Inside is basically looking up to be Limbo, but better, by of course the same developers, and it looks very promising. The world looks really nicely laid out. They've got, again, a really fine looking art style, not as original this time, but certainly still very nice to look at, and if it's even half as good as Limbo, it will definitely be worth having a look at. So yeah, Inside. Star Wars Battlefront. I mean, really, what can I say? This game, if it's good, I mean, we hardly know anything about it at the moment, apart from basically that it's going to be a remake of Star Wars Battlefront. But what we do know is that it's Star Wars Battlefront, and that actually is relevant to the point. I'm not just going crazy. It was a fun game, wasn't it? Being a Wookiee and... Oh, I can't actually do a Wookiee noise, it sounds like I'm choking. Your way to victory, and when someone became a Jedi or a Sith, it was badass, and you were like, oh no! It was such a fun game to play, so an up-to-date version is definitely exciting. Granted, this could fuck up horribly. It could end up being really bad. It really could. It could be... Well, I don't even want to say it. It could be very broken as well, couldn't it? But I want to believe, because if it gets pulled off correctly, it will be hella fun. I don't want it to feel like just a factory churned out game with loads of money poured into it but no soul. I want to feel that experience that you got playing the previous one. So that's why it's here, for hope. For hope's sake, I hope it's good, and if it is, I will be a happy Rage. Moving on. Next up, we have my number one game of Euro. Not Euro. Number one game of the Euro. Number one game of E3, in fact. No Man's Sky. Free roaming, planet exploration, new flora and fauna discovering, space, sort of open simu-world? I mean, I don't even really know what genre this game is occupying. It looks beautiful, it looks massive, and it's got unreal potential. There's a very relatively small team on this, and that kind of worries me, but at the same time gives me hope because they will really care about crafting it to the best of their ability. I mean, what can I say? From the little we've seen, it looks wonderful. Basically, like a 3D Starbound is actually the best way I can put it, and that's a really nice thing to imagine. So No Man's Sky, not a lot of information, but has a lot of potential stuff going for it. Zelda Wii U. How could I not put the next in the Zelda franchise on here? I mean, I just love playing as Zelda and rescuing Link the Princess so much. I really, really do. An Ocarina of Time where you got to ride the horse Epona, and it was fantastic. People are gonna be so mad. I can't not. Every Zelda has been kind of entertaining in its own right. There's been some better than others. Me personally, as I said, I'm an Ocarina. I think that's the best one, but a lot of people are Twilight Princesses. Those people. A lot of people are Majora's Masks, among others as well. Though I think they're the three highest candidate for favourite Zeldas. But yeah, I love the Zelda franchise. The new one on Wii U, based on everything else that's come out for Wii U, like Super Smash Wii U, is going to be great. The preview footage looked phenomenal. The archery on the horseback, I'm excited. I really am. Especially the fact that it's now open world, fully explorable, a lot more RPG, and you know how I like my RPGs. I'm going to keep saying this. So I am very excited to see what they do with this. The Order 1886. This is my... potentially is going to be incredible, but most likely will be a polished kind of meh award game. I love the setting. I like the idea of a secret underground sect that fights off werewolves in the streets of London in a sort of steampunky world with innovative weapons and a compelling storyline. It all sounds very good on paper, but it also very much sounds by the book. But I will give this one the benefit of the doubt simply due to setting, because if it gets pulled off half decently, it will be a very interesting experience. I'm getting Dishonored level vibes from it, and I love Dishonored. It was one of my games of the year in the year it came out, so that is why I am hopeful for The Order. Not a lot of info is known about it, but I definitely am interested to try it simply for the concept alone. War for the Overworld is my 8, a spiritual successor remake of Dungeon Keeper 2, effectively Dungeon Keeper 3 this is, and Dungeon Keeper 2 is one of my favourite games of all time. I personally backed this game with £150 on Kickstarter because I really believe in it. Everything I've played so far through the alpha looks really well made. They are really listening to the fans, making changes based on their suggestions, and the game is getting better and better with every single patch, and the patches are frequent. It should finally come out this year, and I cannot wait to play this. I will probably do a series on it. I love Dungeon Keeper as a concept, being the bad guy, building your dungeon, summoning your minions, and smiting the forces of good. It satisfies the base building, it satisfies the RTS, and it satisfies the... Everything I've seen points to this being great, and I cannot wait to relive one of my favourite game experiences of my life. So Scalebound comes in at 7, and at this point it's simply here because it's Platinum's latest game, and Platinum have had a very stellar record. Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1, both phenomenal games, and a lot of other things that they have done have been really quite excellent. So I am very much looking forward to this. In fact, Revengeance really was not bad at all. In fact, it was quite good. So yeah, Platinum definitely have a lot of goodwill and, you know, I think sort of credibility to them at this point. The Korra game was a little bit of a knock, but not massively. It was a licensed title, whatever. But that series does have very dedicated fans, so it was a little bit disappointing. Either way, a brand new direction that Platinum are going in. Scalebound, you form a bond with a dragon and fight other, like, giant monster beasts. It seems brilliant, the concept at least. Not crazy original, of course. Dragons have been done to death, but if it's a dragon game by Platinum, again, that, you know, sign me up. I'm going to be all over that. It potentially will be rather quite good, and I would be surprised if they mess it up. I really would. From the limited that we've seen of the game, the world looks pretty damn nice to look at as well. I hope there's going to be a fair amount of exploration, and I hope there's going to be a lot of meaningful interaction between you and the dragon, and because, you know, if you're like bonded to a dragon, you want it to be more than a glorified pet. But yeah, simply based on the fact that you are having a fight monsters with your dragon game by Platinum, I think it's going to be fun, so there you go. Rise of the Tomb Raider, the sequel to Tomb Raider, the reboot of Tomb Raider by Tomb Raider, from Tomb Raider to you Tomb Raider while you can Tomb Raider. Either way, the first Tomb Raider is the first game I ever played, and I loved it. I have played every single Tomb Raider to ever get released since then, and it always has got kind of a soft spot. For me, it's definitely part of my nostalgia-driven gaming childhood, and due to that, I will always play every Tomb Raider, for better or for worse. And before the reboot in Tomb Raider, it was kind of for worse. Tomb Raider was on a very much downward spire, but then Tomb Raider came out, and while not perfect, was a pretty damn good game. It was on my top games of the year list. and I liked it. Lara herself got a lot of good character development. Granted, no one else did. The game looked pretty good. It could have had a little bit more focus on survival, but generally speaking, I was very satisfied. It was the best Tomb Raider game to come out in years. So I am hoping that with the sequel, they will have learnt from it, they will have expanded on it, they will have refined the rough edges, and I think that Rise of the Tomb Raider might just be the best Tomb Raider game ever, but that depends so much on them learning what worked and what didn't work in the Tomb Raider. I hate the naming system of all these games. It's like hard to know what I'm even talking about. But yes, if they have learnt what they needed to have learnt from Tomb Raider, Rise is going to be a pretty special experience, at least for me, who is very partial to the Tomb Raider series. So I am very much looking forward to playing that. I just hope it's not as gritty and dark, and we start seeing a little bit more of Lara's kind of quips and humor at situations, and maybe see her build up her team that she has in the manor. And I hope it very much expands on her universe, because there is a lot of cool stuff going on if you do pay attention to the story. I mean, I know while playing Tomb Raider you tend to pay attention to two main other things, but we're not going to worry about that. We are going to move on to next one, which may be a little bit of a surprise and certainly just some wish fulfillment on my part. Bloodborne, the technically latest in the Soul series, though not a thing to do with the Soul series, which I realize was kind of a redundant sentence, but you know what I mean. That style of game, heavily combat-focused, difficult, rewarding, kind of vague story-wise, dark and gritty environments, and it looks very interesting. It's a lot more fast-paced than Dark Souls. It's a lot, well, the Soul series in general. It looks like you can be a bit more reckless and really get stuck in and have fun, which I kind of like the idea of, because you do have to play very slow and carefully in Souls, which is nice and rewarding, but sometimes you just want to go for it. And Bloodborne looks like it's gonna have that, but still have awesome punishing boss fights and the whole thing that's going on with like a disease turning people into monsters and that you're basically Van Helsing. I can dig that, and if the track record of the Souls games is anything to judge something by, then it's probably going to be good. Following them is very good pedigree, especially with the person behind creating Dark Souls involved with Bloodborne. So it'll probably be a very stellar RPG, very intense, very fun, and very heart-pounding. And I'm straight up looking forward to it. Dark Souls 2 was on my Game of the Year list. Dark Souls, one of my favorite games, and it's just, yeah, it's gonna be good. What else can I say? Kingdom Hearts 3. I love Kingdom Hearts. It's a great series. Kingdom Hearts 2 was wonderful, though I have to say the gummy ship stuff, best part of the entire game. Building my own gummy ships to be the best that they could be, some of the most fun I've had in a game, and that sounds really bad, honestly. What's one of your best gaming moments of your life? Building gummy ships in a game about Disney characters. Okay, but honestly, it was wonderful. I love the goofy humor in there, and I loved Goofy's humor. Oh, I'm proud of that one. And it was just a wonderful experience. It was lighthearted, it was fun, but at the same time, it was an actually good story and dark when it needed to be. And I just liked it. The combat was fine and fun. There's just something kind of magical about Kingdom Hearts, and I guess that's because it's Disney, and Disney, as we all know, is magical. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, looking forward to it so much. Will probably be the game that I crack and buy a PS4 for. And what else can I say? We hardly know anything about what it will be, but if it's even on par with Kingdom Hearts 2, I will be very, very happy. Black Desert. Yeah, this is, I've been following the progress of this MMO RPG for a while, because, you know, I love MMORPGs, I love RPGs, no surprises there. Without a doubt, without a single shred of doubt in my mind, without a shadow of a doubt, without any doubt expressions going on, Black Desert, if it's as good as it looks, and it looks, oh, so good, will be the best MMORPG I have ever played, bar none. It looks phenomenal. The combat system looks incredible. The game looks gorgeous. The mechanics look fantastic. The way the PvP works looks amazing. The world is going to be so much fun to explore. There is Assassin's Creed level parkour that you can do as players in this world. There is like mounted, packs of combat, like it can be a group of horsemen chasing down like a carriage and slowly firing into the windows and stuff, and there's player collision and action based everything. The spell effects look beautiful, the classes look innovative, it's a true sandbox. You can create proper player owned stuff and really craft the world, but it also looks really busy at the same time. You can have full on castle sieges that you own the castles and hire armies to help you assault. You can get your dynasty warriors on as you wade through random troops. It just looks so ambitious and so wonderful, and it's pretty much already out in Japan. I think it's Japan, and either way, I want it in Europe so bad, and it finally got a publisher for Europe, which makes me so happy, and I want to see this in 2015. It's had its alpha testing, it's had its beta testing, and I want this MMO so goddamn bad that I'm putting it on this list, irrelevant of knowing at all when it's going to come out, because I just want you to be aware of it. Look up the stuff to do with this game. It looks brilliant. I really cannot wait to eventually... I will play this in Japanese if I have to, okay? Cannot wait to finally play Black Desert. Monster Hunter 4 at 2. I was tempted to put this at 4 just so I could do 4 for 4, but then I realized that's really bad arbitrary numbering. I love the Monster Hunter series, one of my favorite game franchises of all time, on my favorite games of all time list as a whole. I think it's fantastic. I think fighting the monsters in Monster Hunter is better than fighting any boss in the Dark Souls series, or the Souls series, I guess I should again specifically say. I love grinding out materials to make armor based on the monsters that you have slain so you can slay more monsters, and yeah, it sounds grindy and like a treadmill, but it's so satisfying. The worlds that you've been hunting in are getting more and more beautiful to look at. The diversity of the creatures you have to go up against is getting incredible. They are some of the best designed fauna and flora that I've seen in a game, bar none. The roster of monsters that you can hunt is just wonderful. Each of them unique, each of them with their own quirks, each of them a heart-pounding battle, each of them the most... When you do that final strike in the action, very much skill-based, timing-based combat against this gargantuan behemoth that's been battering you, and you're slowly trying to kill it, you've chopped its tail off, you've like broken its wings, and you're both bleeding out, and you're still fighting because one of you is only getting out of this alive. You eventually bring it down, and as it like lets out its last breath, it is the most experience that I've had probably in gaming at all. It's so wonderful. It's satisfying in a way I cannot describe to take down that monster you have been stuck on in Monster Hunter, and the latest ones just look even better. Every new Monster Hunter to come out has been categorically better than the last across the entire franchise and all of the games, and that is something very few franchises can say. And I am excited for Monster Hunter 4. So excited. I am going to play the hell out of it. I have like 1,000 hours across all the Monster Hunter games. I can't wax lyrical enough about why I love this game. I really can't. I don't want to go into too much depth because I will of course be covering it. But I think it's wonderful. I really do. So... yeah, Monster Hunter 4, everyone. Looking forward to that. Number 1 then, guys, Witcher 3. You knew it would come to this. You knew I love RPGs. I've only said it 7 times in this video. The Witcher series is the only RPG series that stands tall as my joint first favourite RPG series with Gothic, and that is a high accolade for me to give, which technically speaking makes it my joint favourite single-player game. Witcher 2 was a wonderful experience. It was gorgeous, it was fun, it was exciting, the story was great, everything about it I loved. I don't need to go on about Witcher 2, you all should have played it, and if not, do yourself a service and play it. Witcher 3 looks to be that, but just so much better. It's now a massive world. It is open world. There is so much to do, so much to see, so much to fight. The RPG elements look so much better, expanded, refined. The combat looks to be just as action and good. There is little I can see about Witcher 3 that looks to be in any way worse than Witcher 2, and Witcher 2 is in my top 3 games of all time. So what can I say? Witcher 3 is going to be fantastic. I will get it. It would take 10 hours of me hating the game for me to accept that Witcher 3 is not good. No matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone does, I will be getting this game and I will be playing it a hell load. And I will be crushed if it ends up being bad, or at least worse than Witcher 2. I really will, but I see no reason to believe that it will. I think it will be arguably Game of the Year, and I cannot wait to get a hold of it. I really cannot. You can be sure you'll be seeing content on that one. So yeah, simply for being the next in the line of RPGs that I consider one of my joint favorite game experiences of all time, hell yes. Looking the hell forward to Witcher 3. It's going to be wonderful. Not to stir up the hype or anything, but I think with Witcher 3, I really can. So there you go, guys. That is my top 15 of 2015 that I'm looking forward to. Any you agree with? Any you think won't be good? How does your list of games you're looking forward to compare? I would love to know. Let's have a wonderful discussion on it in the comments. As usual, I love reading what you guys have to say. So without further ado, it is time to bring this to a close. I think 2015 is going to be a wonderful year for gaming and one of the best years we've had in a long time. My name has been Rage. Remember to like if you've enjoyed this. I really do appreciate your support and it does help. And subscribe for more. Oh, goodbye. You've been watching